Hello and welcome. We are back in Genesis chapter 18. I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the chapter heading. Abraham entertains three holy men. They promise that Sarah will have a son. Abraham will command his children to be just. The Lord appears to him. They discuss the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Verse 1. And the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. Verse 2. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, three men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door, and bowed himself toward the ground. Verse 3. And said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Verse 4. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. In verse 5, And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts, after that ye shall pass on. Therefore are ye come to your servant. And they said, So do, as thou hast said. And Abraham is treating them with a lot of hospitality, which is awesome. Shows you what kind of man Abraham was. Verse 6. And Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah, and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth. In verse 7. And Abraham ran unto the herd, and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it to the young man, and he hasted to dress it. And verse 8. And when he took butter and milk, and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them, he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. Verse 9. And they said unto him, Where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, Behold, in the tent. Verse 10. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door, which was behind him. Verse 11. Now Abram and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. Verse 12. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, Am I waxed old? Shall I have pleasure, my lord, of being old also? Verse 13. And the Lord said unto Abraham, Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I of surety bear a child which am old? And verse 14. Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the time appointed I will return unto thee, according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Verse 15. Then Sarah denied, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid. And he said, Nay, but thou didst laugh. In verse 16. And the men rose up from thence, and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on their way. In verse 17. And the Lord said, Shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do? And verse 18. Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth be blessed in him? Verse 19. For I know him that he will command his children and his household after him, that they shall keep the way of the Lord, to do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he had spoken of him. That's awesome. So in verse 19 it says, For I know him that he will command his children and his household after him, that they shall keep the way of the Lord. It's a testament from the writer about knowing that Abraham's seed will be protected and preserved by the Lord. That's nice. Genesis 18 verse 19 is a nice verse. And verse 20, and it says, And the Lord said, Because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is grievous. Verse 21, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me, and if not, I will know. Verse 22, And the men turned their faces from thence and went toward Sodom. But Abraham stood yet before the Lord. Verse 23. And Abraham drew near and said, Wilt thou also destroy the righteous of the wicked? Verse 24. Peradventure there be 50 righteous within the city. Wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein? Verse 25. That be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, that the righteous should be as the wicked, that be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? Verse 26. And the Lord said, If I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes. Verse 27. And Abraham answered and said, Behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord, which am but dust and ashes. Verse 28. Peradventure there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy all the city for lack of 5? And he said, If I find there 40 and 5, I will not destroy it. Verse 29. And he spake unto him yet again, and peradventure shall there be 40 found there. And he said, I will not do it for 40's sake. And he said unto him, O let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak, peradventure there be 30 found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And verse 31, and he said, Behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord, peradventure there shall be found 20 there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 20's sake. And he said, O let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak yet this once, peradventure there be 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake. And the Lord went his way, as soon as he had left communicating with Abraham. And Abraham returned unto his place. I think it's so interesting how the Lord is able to communicate with Abraham in that period of time. I think it's much more powerful than what we are able to see these days. I think the Lord was actually able to visit them in person, but I wonder if Abraham was visited by the Lord in spirit, and that would make the most sense. So we'll just assume that that's what happened. Anyways, that was Genesis chapter 18. We are going to head into Genesis chapter 19. Genesis chapter 18 was a good chapter. There's a lot of good there's a lot of good content in Genesis chapter 18 that we brushed over. Like, if a city has only 10 people in it, God will not destroy that city. 10 good people, 10 righteous people, and God will not destroy that city. And to me, that it just shows how confident and powerful the Lord is, and that in the fact that He can make any situation for the better, and for the glory of God. And yeah. Anyways, we're gonna head into Genesis chapter 19. Thank you